Hey guys, I have sort of an impromptu video for you today. I just wanted to discuss something that happened recently in the ferret community, but more so talk about social media and just the way that it is now and how it's so easy to showcase animal neglect and abuse. Before I do begin, I want to give a content warning to my younger viewers. I do suggest having your parents watch this video, and if they decide that it is okay for you to watch, you can watch it along with them. You may have seen what happened in the ferret community recently. I'm not going to go too into detail just because so many people have covered this already on there and have done a wonderful job. But in case you were not aware, there was a situation, I think end of August, I'm not exactly sure the timeline, a viral ferret TikToker, someone with millions of subscribers, came forward and admitted that they had starved their ferrets for 2 days while waiting for their food to come in, and one of them did unfortunately pass away because of it. The one that passed away did suffer from a condition known as insulinoma. It is a chronic condition that requires medication for life and more frequent feedings. These ferrets cannot go very long periods of time without food because they need it to regulate their blood sugar levels with this condition. And then of course, just in general, ferrets should not go without food for very long at all. They can't go as long as dogs can, cats can. They really need frequent feedings of food. And then of course, they're your pets, so you are supposed to be feeding them every day. And with the daily medication, a good diet, and the frequent feedings, a ferret with insulinoma generally will live a fairly normal lifespan. So it is very unfortunate that this one had to be cut so short. And according to accounts from followers that follow them, the ferret did suffer quite a bit before it passed away, which is really unfortunate. A lot of the times, ferrets with insulinoma, if they don't have an adequate amount of food, they will start having a lot of seizures, and then they will eventually pass if they're not given medical care, and then even then it might be too late. So that is why it is so important to monitor their blood glucose levels, make sure they're getting enough food. This ferret did unfortunately die not a very peaceful death at all. To make matters worse, the TikToker did choose to film the dead ferret and film themselves burying the ferret. It is quite a disturbing video. I watched a little bit of it and I personally just cannot stomach it. It's very upsetting. And then upon receiving backlash, which is inevitable when you come forward and admit that you did something like this, the TikToker then changed their mind and claimed that the ferret died naturally and they had nothing to do with it, and that they actually did give the ferret some egg before it passed away. But as you guys know, an egg is not a suitable amount of food for a ferret, especially one with insulinoma. So take from that what you will, but I won't be discussing that specific situation any further just because so many people have covered it in great detail on various platforms and they've done a really great job. So there's really not much more that I could say about this particular situation that would really add anything to it, but I figured I'd give some background. But I will say, as a fellow ferret owner, this was incredibly disappointing to see, especially as someone who lost 2 ferrets, and after doing absolutely everything that I could for them, medically, nutritionally, mentally, physically, I did absolutely everything I could for them. I spent thousands of dollars over and over again, utilized the best vet care in the state, and it still couldn't save them. I am by no means rich at all. I worked very hard, and I still do, to provide for my animals, and I have good saving habits when it comes to them. I don't spend on, luxury items. I'm very thoughtful with my money. Main point that I wanted to drive home with this video is just the detriments to our younger generations caused by social media obsession, because this is what it boils down to, especially when those younger people go viral on apps like TikTok. If this TikToker hadn't gone viral with their first ferret, they would have likely not gotten more ferrets, to the point where it's just too many ferrets for this person to handle. They would have likely not felt the need to film a dead ferret and post it online for millions to see. The ferret may not have gotten into their hands in the first place, and it would likely still be alive today. It's not really the fault of the viewers though. Don't feel bad like you're responsible in any way of this, because cute ferret videos are everywhere. They're very enjoyable to watch. Once the fame gets into some of these people's heads, they begin doing more out there type content, such as feeding the ferrets food they shouldn't eat, making them move in ways that goes against their anatomy, putting them in stressful situations, and even filming their dead bodies for views. And I'm not just talking about one account. This video is not directed to one account in particular. Of course, I mentioned a account earlier, but this kind of goes for many different viral accounts when it comes to animals, and it is why I eventually deleted my TikTok shortly after having it. These types of videos make the most views, and a lot of the time the poster doesn't care if it's negative or positive attention, because attention is attention. And on apps like TikTok, it doesn't really matter, you'll still get paid. Same with YouTube. It depends on the amount of views that your video gets. So if your video is getting a lot of views but it's negative attention, you're still gonna get paid. Which is another thing. Apps like TikTok are making it easier for younger people to get paid just being at home and not doing much. It encourages kids to just keep trying to make money and do whatever they can to make money. I'm gonna get some backlash from people like, oh my god, no, Bryn, TikTok is a real job, it's really hard work. But no, when you compare it to like real work, there's really not much of a comparison. But anyways, the fault lies in the parents. I strongly believe that minors should not have access to apps like TikTok. I know I do have a lot of young viewers that use TikTok, so please don't feel offended from me saying that. Please hear me out. It is so easy for creeps to get your information from watching your videos, find out what school you go to, where you live. So easy for them to message you and connect with you and your friends. Hence why there are so many recent stories coming out of big content creators doing creepy things with their fans, because it's so easy for them to do that, and parents are not adequately monitoring their children's internet use. And it should be really scary to the parents. I did want to bring up a personal story of mine. I don't know if I've talked about this on here before, but I hope that it helps drive this point home, especially to my younger viewers and the parents out there that watch my videos. For many years when I was younger, I did a lot of what is called cosplay. I dressed up like various characters from video games, anime, movies, anything. It was very innocent on my end. I'd go to conventions, take photos. I would use Instagram and YouTube. I was known in my school for doing this, and many people my age thought it was cool. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of friends. It was overall a really great experience. I don't do it anymore because it's very expensive, and I don't know, it's not really my scene anymore. So a few years after I stopped, I was going through my Facebook message requests, which I've never done before, and a lot of it was spam. This is my personal Facebook. But there was one guy who, turns out, he had been messaging me the entire time I was cosplaying, so years. He was just sending me messages, and I was a minor at the time, and the messages were romantic and suggestive in nature. If I had read those back then, it would have absolutely terrified me, and it still does to this day. And he lived in a town like right over. He knew the town I was living in, he knew the school that I went to, sending me selfies of himself and his dog, like, you would love my dog. And he would get depressed because I didn't see these messages, I wasn't opening them or responding. So yeah, I was pretty horrified. Those messages were really gross, and that had went on for years. This guy was clearly psycho or something. He was able to find my personal Facebook account, which wasn't linked to any of my pages, figured out the school that I go to. Basically, it's so easy for people to find that information about you, which is why it's so important to withhold personal information online. And if you're too young to use the internet, just don't use it. But back to the animals, I don't want to rant too much about that, but children are so impressionable. While it may sound outlandish that if someone would replicate starving their ferret or burying their ferret for views and filming it, you'd be surprised at some of the stuff I have seen on that app in particular, especially when those said videos are getting thousands and thousands of views. These children are seeing it, these people are going viral and making money. Like, I want to do that, you know? And like I said before, the cute, cuddly videos, sometimes they make a lot of views, but a lot of the times you're going to get more views on the videos of putting your ferret in stressful situations, making them eat things that they shouldn't, or pretending to let them eat things that they shouldn't. The younger generations put so much importance and worth in social media fame, they will do anything to get big too. And this also opens the doors to cyberbullying and real life bullying, because TikTok and similar apps are so popular amongst school-aged kids, this can of course create self-esteem problems and self-worth problems over time. If you're not getting a lot of views, you're comparing yourselves to other people. It is not healthy for young kids to be doing that. It's so easy for them to ignore the age requirement of the apps and still post anyway and get away with it, because it's also difficult to monitor your child on these apps as well. All have, you know, recommended and explore pages. You can really find anything on there. As I've gotten older, I've really grown to have a big distaste for social media. I deleted my TikTok, Twitter, personal Facebook account because I just hate what it does to me and the people around me. I can scroll like a zombie for days on those apps, just over and over. Just I could be doing 100 other more productive things. I can say the same for the younger children in my life who do use TikTok or similar apps, or just, you know, YouTube, Instagram, stuff like that. They just like endlessly scrolling, and it doesn't help with the new utilization of Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. Now it's even easier to get like short, quick content, and it's addictive. You're just scrolling over and over again, and that's what your children are doing. Even when I was getting more into YouTube and trying to make it my full-time job, I quickly learned that it was a really unhealthy relationship for me with YouTube, and it wasn't good for me to post the way that I was posting in hopes that I would make it big and be able to make it my full-time job. It's not healthy for me. So now I just post when I want to, and it's so much better. Basically, what I want you to take away from this video, there's a couple things I want you to take away, but the big one is be very careful with what you allow your children to watch. I would be so heartbroken and upset if I found out that my child was watching someone who starved their ferret and filmed it. Sorry, Gen is now snoring, but put limitations on what your children can watch. Better yet, don't allow them access to these apps until they are of age. A lot of these kids that are using these apps are younger than the age requirement of the apps, thus breaking terms of service, and they can get banned. Because I don't want my children growing up looking through this lens at other people's lives and comparing themselves and having self-esteem and self-confidence issues and just seeing all the fakeness that people put out there on their pages. I don't want that to be how my kid grows up. Circling back to the poor ferret who lost his life, I do know that the owner does watch my content and looks at my pages, so please, if you're watching this, please consider rehoming your ferrets. I would directly say this myself to you, but I do feel uncomfortable after some of the things that are coming out that I cannot mention because of my younger audience. Please consider deleting TikTok. Don't try to make it your full-time job anymore. Try to make money doing real work. Volunteer at an animal rescue to learn more about animals. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you're struggling, can't afford food for your animals. The ferret community, I will say, is very good at helping each other out when it comes to financial stuff. And that goes for everyone else too watching this video. Of course, if you're finding yourself on hard times frequently, you should probably not have ferret. Everyone appreciates the help once in a while. But thanks for watching, and I sincerely hope that you took something or many things away from this video. Trust me, once I deleted my excess, unnecessary social media pages, I felt so much lighter, more motivated, more involved in my own life. That's the big one, involved in my own life. I'm not so involved in other people's fakeness in their lives and comparing myself, and spend more time with family and loved ones. The amount of time, if you're able to add up the amount of time that you spend just endlessly scrolling and just doing nothing on your phone, it's pretty shocking. And a lot of these people complain that they don't have time to do anything, but yet they spend hours and hours and hours and hours every single week just doing nothing on their phone. It goes kind of without saying, please do not send hate to anyone. If you see something on TikTok, try to report it. They will probably not do anything about it, but that's really all you can do at this point until they implement better regulations when it comes to that kind of stuff and reporting animal abuse and neglect. But don't, go trying to dox them or comment you need to die, stuff like that. It's unnecessary, even during such heartbreaking situations like this. But anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. It'll be a happier video, but I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.